Looking back on the 2014 season, the team went 9-0 in the regular season with the district championship, 10-1 overall, the 7th straight playoff appearance. Expectations were certainly high coming into the season, especially after the previous season where you kind of got the feeling that you did better than you kind of expected that you did. And I think the community is proud of what the team did. I certainly am, and I think the team is as well. But certainly would have liked them to progress a little bit further in the playoffs. From the team's perspective, what were the expectations that you had, and did you meet them?
Well, I think every year one of the first expectations that we have is that we want to be a team and a family. And I think once you develop that particular concept, you certainly have an opportunity then to have a chance to be a good football team during the course of the season. And that's our number one goal every year is develop camaraderie and to care for one another and to have each other's back, to work together and improve every practice. And if you do that, the scoreboard will take care of itself. Anytime you win a district championship, and there's some good teams in our district this year, Matt, you should be pretty proud of that. And we were very proud, and to go 9-0 was an honor. And to get into the playoffs again is another tremendous honor. Certainly we would have liked to have gone a little farther in the playoffs as well, but that particular night we looked at the game tape and some of their kids simply outplayed some of ours. And sometimes that happens, and when that happens, you've got to give credit to your opponent. And but overall, I thought the season was an outstanding season. And I think it's one of the things we have to be careful about in West Branch is that we have to really appreciate what we get. There are a lot of schools who would really think a 10-1 record is pretty special, and here it's just another season basically, and we have to be very careful that we don't get a little spoiled.
So most people only get a view of the players, on the field and what they're able to accomplish on the field. Now, these are student athletes, and you really like to emphasize the student part first. What are a few of the successes or things you would like to highlight off the field that the players were able to accomplish, whether it be academic success in another sport, collegiate scholarships, etc.?
Well, I think the fact that we've gone to standard-based grading is making our kids more accountable in the classroom, and I know that a lot of kids are struggling with that, and they're simply going to have to understand that there's certain standards that they have to meet in order to be successful. And we had some squads last winter, Matt, that had some kids that were ineligible. They didn't get their jobs done in the classroom, and obviously they didn't get to play, and I think that's important. And the same thing will happen this year. I would imagine we're going to have some kids that'll look for some shortcuts in the classroom, and when they do, they're going to find themselves sitting in the bleachers with everybody else in West Branch because we're going to demand that they get their grades. Another couple things that we really felt proud of is Jacob Giese getting a scholarship, preferred walk-on at the University of Iowa. He's going to be invited to the first day of camp, which is the top 110, I believe, or 115, and he's one of their top 115, and that was one of the reasons he went there. He had some other schools that had offered full-ride scholarships, and he kind of went the Bo Bauer route and decided to go to the University of Iowa and be a Hawkeye. And Big John St. John is also getting a full-ride scholarship to Iowa Central Community College, which I think is a real honor for John. He worked hard, he got better, and I think it's going to help him become even a better person down the road. So those kinds of things are individual, and the fact, again, that we got along so well is another thing that we have. And the off-season. We've had some things going on in regards to open gyms. Obviously, we have some parents that come in and spend some time with our kids because we can't be there doing any coaching, but we've seen some good things there. And Phil Johnson, our strength coach, has also been real pleased as far as what's going on in the weight room. We had some things that we had to work out this last couple of weeks, and those things have been worked out, and we look for a really bright future down the road.
Great. And you mentioned the academic thing. I think it was Matt McElrath that was honored by the Iowa Football Coaches Association for his great academics, and I think you wanted to get Sam Aspelmeyer in there as well, but there were some rules and stuff regarding that.
Matt McElrath was named to Academic All-State, which is a big honor, and unbeknownst to us, and I'll have to take the blame for that, or the guidance counselor, we did not know that we could nominate any more than one kid. And we found out then later that we could nominate 3, and had we have known that, Sam Aspelmeyer would have been also nominated. He had the second highest GPA, and he would have also been on that particular thing, and it's a shame that it happened, and I personally apologize for my role in the thing, but it was certainly an honest mistake, and did not know it because Sam was one of my all-time favorite players here at West Branch.
Yeah, it's great to see the great academic success off the field. Now, when we lot of the time when you talk to former players, and this came up a lot when we were doing the interviews for the highlight film, a lot of the players mention family. And that seems to be kind of the go-to word when describing this team. You know, if you had to describe it in one word, they would say family. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's just something that we stress and we bring them up with when they're knee-high to a grasshopper. We start explaining to them, you have to care for one another. You have to be a team. Teams that have a bunch of individuals on them are going to fail. I've had a couple teams in my career at West Branch that were a little more eye-oriented. They should have been, and they didn't reach the success that they could have had they really cared for one another. And this has been a real pattern for us recently. We stress it hard. The kids believe in what we're telling them, and certainly it's really made a big difference in the one-loss record.
Sure. So this past season, the Bearcast was introduced, which allows people from all over the world really to listen to West Branch football games online. Stephen Grace, Mike Quinlan, Jerry Flegel were able to call the games, and you know, anybody that couldn't make it to the game, just head to westbranchfootball.com and listen. What do you think of that, and what do you think the players think of that? That their on the field, you know, successes in games are being, anybody in the world can listen.
Well, I just think it's a tremendous advantage for our program, and it's been handled very professionally by you, Matt, and Jason Miller jumps in there and helps you as well, and all the different other people that you have in your support staff are really a professional group of people who care about kids. The salary that you get is zero, and so you're not doing it for the money. You're doing
totally
it
for fun. Yeah.
You're doing it for the love of the love of the sport and the love of the kids, and I just think it's tremendous. So we've had a lot of comments from a variety of people that have moved away from West Branch that are just super excited that they can listen to our ball games on Friday night, and they may live in Oregon or California.
Or Middle East.
Or Middle East,
yeah.
Frenchy.
Yeah, they're in Europe, yeah. So also this past season, something that's really cool that was introduced was the throwback game. Really, you know, a big thing put on by the captain's parents, especially Kathy and Dave McElrath. They did a great job. Is that going to continue this year? Are we going to do another throwback game to kind of, you know, honor the teams of the past and wear those purple jerseys again?
There's just no question about it. We're going to have it every year as long as I'm the coach here, and I hope that when I'm gone they continue to do this. Kath and Dave did a great job promoting that thing, and as did some others. And it's not only grown into the football, which we're going to do this game, the second game of the season against West Liberty. It's also going into baseball. Baseball is going to have a throwback game this summer as well, and so I think it's a great tradition. I think it's something that we need to continue to do. You know, too many times people forget the people that used to be here, some of the senior citizens that are gone, some of the people that have passed away, and I think this is a big thank you back to all those wonderful people.
Great. I'm glad that we're going to continue doing that. It was pretty neat. So let's look ahead to the 2015 season. One of the first things that you kind of do in the off-season is pick the team captains. So who are the captains for this upcoming season, and what leadership qualities do you, the other players see in these young men that you know, comes to representing this team?
Well, it's simply what we do at the end of the season is we get the kids together and we show them some criteria that we feel that captains should meet. And then they take some time to think about it, and then we have a vote. And this year's captains are Drew Finnegan, Hunter Wargo, Matt Schauber, Devin Kindon, and Tony Rocha, and they richly deserve that honor. And they know that they're going to have more expected out of them. They're going to be asked to do different things. Their parents have worked extremely hard getting the trivia night done, the Carver Hawkeye Arena, the variety of different things that they do to help us, the clothing sales. And I tell you, to be a captain is a big honor, but it's also a lot of work for their parents. But I think it's something that's really worthwhile for that whole group of people.
Right. So every year the coaching staff goes and visits a college and tries to learn from their coaching staff. Who did you guys visit? Who have you, or who are you going to visit this year? And what did you and the coaching staff take away from that?
Well, the last 3 years we went to Notre Dame, we went to Ohio State, and we went to Michigan. This year we decided we were going to go to a Glazier clinic in Chicago, and we went into the clinic, and the clinic was a good clinic, but it's a clinic that I would probably never do again. I like going to colleges. I like to see the coaches coach. I like to see the players that are on that particular team, and I like to feel the atmosphere that that program surrounds itself with. And So we did go to the Glacier Clinic, and it was a satisfactory clinic, but certainly I think we're going to be doing more college visits in the near future. And what I've done to compensate that is we've gone to a lot of Iowa football practices, and Kirk Ferentz, in fact, I was with him the other day. We talked for a good 10 minutes, and it's good to be able to pick his brain and to talk to him and all the other assistant coaches that we have an opportunity to be with. It does help your learning process. And next Saturday, I'm going to encourage all of my assistant coaches to go with me to another practice at Iowa and get some more knowledge into our belt.
Cool. So it's good to hear that the coaching staff is not kind of resting in the off season. You're always learning. What are you having the players learn that in relation to things that they can improve on from last year?
Well, you know, the use of huddle has been a really great thing for the football team, the football program, the coaches and the players, because they can watch themselves in the off season and see what they need to work on. And obviously coaches can also get together with their position players and point things out. And I'll tell you, lots of times when you have a picture, it's worth 1,000 words. And believe me, those kids have seen their mistakes and they know what they need to improve on. And then some of these open gyms, you know, they can again discuss things, but a lot of that's speed and agility. So we can't really, you know, they're not going to get a lot out of that. But the huddle aspect has really made it beneficial for us.
Cool. So it sounds like this season is going to kind of not start the way it typically does with your meet the team night here Friday nights, you know, introduce the football team, the volleyball team, cross country team, etc., do the scrimmage and all the other activities that go on with that. I think the plan is right now those kind of introductions and stuff are going to happen on a Thursday night, and then Friday night the football team's actually going to travel to Mount Vernon, where your son coaches for the Mount Vernon Mustangs, and scrimmage against them on Friday night. Talk a bit about that and how the opportunity came up.
Well, Lance had mentioned to me that he likes to meet the team nights like we do as well, but those scrimmages really aren't worth a whole lot of time. You sit there and you run a lot of vanilla plays and you can't really improve. And after a while, you know, when you play against each other every day, you know what the plays are going to be and you get a feeling for what's going to happen. And we thought that if we developed a controlled scrimmage where we could put a red vest on a quarterback so they won't be hit, or we'll have our running backs get tackled but stay on the feet, so we're not going to take them to the ground. A controlled scrimmage will be more beneficial for us against Mount Vernon than a vanilla scrimmage down here. And you know, everybody's welcome to come up there. It's not going to be any charge to my knowledge, and we get to play on a college field, and it's going to be a good experience. And of course, we certainly don't want to walk away from meet the team night, and we'll have that situation here again. And Jeff Reed, our athletic director, is in the process of developing some type of program, so that's going to be a fun night as well.
Great, great. So 14 seniors from the football team will be graduating this May. 9 of them, if I did my math right, were starters this season. That includes Lucas Lumont, who had one of the best seasons a quarterback could have. You know, it's up there. Mason Hayes, Sam Aspelmeyer, 2 key wide receivers, you know, Wolf and McElrath on defense, not to mention Big John and Giese on the front line. And, you know, that's really just to name a few of the key players on this team. How are you and your staff planning on replacing those 14 seniors?
Well, you know, basically our receivers should be very, very strong. We have a lot of kids that return to the receiver position, and we have some kids that have moved into our school district that we'll probably talk about in the near future here. And so the receivers are going to be strong. The running backs will be strong. Luke Lennox back, Devin Kindon. We need to find a quarterback. We need to find a quarterback that stresses ball security but can also press the corner and throw the football. And we think we have some candidates there that can do a good job. We have 2 offensive linemen back, so we have to find 3 offensive linemen. But again, I think there's some candidates there that will develop into good football players. Defensively, I think we returned 4 starters. The whole defensive line is gone. The front 4 is gone, so we're going to have to find some people up front. We have some linebackers that return that we think are good linebackers, and a couple of D-backs as well. But that front line on defense is going to be a huge challenge. And I think this year we have to develop some secondary people that really want to come up and hit somebody. I think that was a little bit of a weakness a year ago. That they covered fairly well, but we need to be more aggressive in the linebacker and the secondary positions. The kicking game will be good. We have Kindon back, and we have a transfer in that is going to also be an excellent kicker. He was 10 for 10 the other day at a kicking camp down at William Penn, and one of those was a 44-yard field goal. And this is an 8th grader that we're talking about, and so our kicking game will be very strong.
Sure, and so you kind of mentioned it already, but There are a couple kids that have moved with their families to West Branch, or will be this summer. Are you at liberty to name who they are, and what do you think that they and their families are going to bring to not only the football program, but the school and the community?
Well, first of all, anybody that is a part of our program will be a positive influence on our program, and I think their families will fit in very, very well. They'll see what's expected of the parents, of the family, of the community, and they'll fit in very well. And the players are, Aaron Barnes, transferred to Regina a year ago. Liked Regina a lot, but it wasn't quite the fit that he was looking for, and he came back, and we welcome him back with open arms, and he's going to be an excellent football player for us. Cooper Koenig, quarterback at West Liberty a year ago, started every ball game. During the basketball season, some things didn't quite work out for him, and his family made a phone call to our school district, and he has moved back into our school district. In fact, he's running track right now, and
he broke some records, didn't he?
Yeah, he's already broken some records. I think one of them was a long jump record that was set by Warren Pierce on 62 or 63. I'm not sure when it was, but a long time ago.
Way before my time.
Yeah. And Bo Cornwell was the kicker I'm talking to you about. He's an 8th grader at Southeast Junior High. He's already open enrolled. He's waiting till the last day of school, then he's eligible to be here right away. Excellent kicker, excellent quarterback, possibly could also be a receiver. So we're going to wait and see what he does and what he can bring to the table. We don't want to push freshmen, but if they're good enough to play, they're good enough to play. I know we've had some freshmen play here, in Chad Gates and Eli Elliott. If they're, yeah, exactly. So if they're there and they're good enough to play, Luke played as a freshman and did a great job. So if Bo's good enough to play, he's going to play. Derek Sparks is 6'4", 190-pound defensive end, tight end from West Liberty. He was probably their best football player a year ago, and his family wanted a change of scenery a little bit, and they moved into West Branch and live here in the community, and they're excited about their move. And the last one is Jake Evans, a young man that went to City High School and then went to, I believe, Indiana with his father a year ago, and decided this spring that he wanted to move back with his mother, who lives in West Branch, and he's living with his mother, and he has a bright future ahead of him. All athletic kids all have an opportunity to play, but we're going to have to see if they can beat out what we have here. The one thing I'm going to stress on that, they are West Branch players now. If they would happen to beat one of our kids out, that's the way it is, because they are a West Branch player, and we do respect that. And our kids will rally around that, and they know that the best players are going to get on the field.
Sure. So for the 2015 season, it's the same exact schedule as last season, but the locations are flipped. And that means that Lisbon and North Cedar actually get to come to play at the Little Rose Bowl, which, as far as I can remember, hasn't happened very much, if at all, especially for North Cedar. So that'll be neat. But what are some of the differences that you foresee in the opponents? I know you mentioned this is going to be a strong district, but what difference do you see that could potentially make the outcomes of the district games we had last year be kind of a little different this season?
Well, I think it's going to be more a balanced league. I thought West Branch and North Cedar obviously were the two strongest teams in the district last year, and I think that played out that way. And it's going to be a balanced league. I know Bellevue, in my opinion, is the team to beat. We have to play them on the road. North Cedar is going to be very strong. They got a new football coach this year. North Cedar's football coach went to Al Burnett, and they have a lot of kids returning as well. So it's going to be a balanced league. I looked at Wapello last year on the fresh soft level. They had a nice football team, and they have a very good coach down there, and I think they'll be better. So it's going to be more of a balanced league, and we're going to have to make sure that we can stress ball control, but yet still throw it, and have a suffocating defense that gets after the football. And if we can do those kinds of things, I think we can be successful in our district.
Good deal. So what are a few of the upgrades and additions to the program or to the facilities that have been made already or will be made during this off season?
Well, obviously this upkeep of this field is the #1 priority, and they do a good job keeping the turf in good shape. I can remember when I used to play, there was like a barren piece of dirt down the middle of the field, and I remember Coach Hansen once decided it was time to get some fertilizer on it. So he brought some cow manure or whatever else on there, and they spread it all over the field, and every time we got a cut, we had a big boil on our arms or our face, around our neck, or inside our ears, and that was kind of an interesting fall that year. We all walked around with staph infection a lot, but So those kinds of days are over with, but Coach did the right thing. He tried to get some grass on the field for us. But obviously the upkeep will be the same, and we'll have our smoke machine will be back. We're looking into some renovations down the road in the press box. The press box is not adequate. It's too small. You've been up there. You've seen what happens when the people from other media sources come down here. It's just not a very good environment. But we're going to try to wait, and we're going to try to put that into an upcoming bond issue, hopefully, that we're going to have and get passed, that our school district, very, very much needs. And so we're going to be patient. We're going to sit back, and we're going to make do with a facility that's not top grade right now. We're going to have our fireworks back again this year, at least twice and maybe 3 times. So we're going to have a little 4th of July every time the Bears step on the field. So those are some of the things currently that we're thinking about.
So Butch, what are going to be some of the coaching changes that are going to happen with this season?
I do want to mention that Terry Roosh and Ray Woods are no longer with us. Terry it's got to the point where he's retiring. He's going to spend more time with his family, and I totally respect that. I know he's going to be back, and he's said that he's already offered to watch game tapes with us on Sunday mornings if we need some help with another eye. And Ray Woods has been with me for almost 20 years, I think 20 years, and done a great job. And I contacted him this spring via the text twice and a phone call, and I never really got back. He never had the ability to get back to me at that time, but I know he couldn't come last year until 5 o'clock. At his job at the university just wouldn't let him off, and I know he felt bad about that, and so he's decided basically that because of work conflicts he's not going to be able to stay with us. So those 2 people are going to be gone. Kyle Hageman, who used to play for the University of Iowa, has been moved from the offensive line on the fresh soft to the varsity offensive line coach to replace Woodsy, and Jared still works some with that offensive line as well. And then Matt Hills graciously decided that he would go back down to the fresh soft and help Chris to replace Kyle, who we had to move up. So we had to shuffle a little bit, but I think the staff is going to be extremely strong like always, and we're very excited about that. And also, we got a phone call here about a month ago from Cole Kelly. Used to be a running back here and was a star running back at St. Ambrose in Davenport, and he's going to be on the varsity staff, and he'll be working with the secondary and the running backs. And then to have Cole on our staff is a very big plus for us.
So were there any other additions to the program that we're thinking about doing, maybe like uniforms or something like that?
Well, the kids have decided that they want to have chrome stickers on their helmets. So you'll see bare chrome stickers on both sides, and you'll see a stripe down the middle that's all chrome. And supposedly when you turn the lights on, they're kind of a shiny looking thing. And I know a lot of colleges use that particular situation, so we decided that we needed to do that. And our football program buys a lot of our own stuff. And that was kind of a gravy item, and the kids raised the money for that, and I bought $900 worth of stickers, which they're very expensive, but the kids wanted them, and I think they have to work hard for those things, and I think it's a lesson that if you want something, you have to work for it, and they did just that, and they're going to have some new stickers on their helmets.
So they're going to be kind of like a silver color?
It's the same colors, but
okay.
They're just real shiny. It's it's hard to explain, but they're very
I think
shiny.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, they're very shiny.
That'll be really neat.
They're pretty cool.
So there's no concerns about distracting and blinding other players?
Well, I hope it does. I hope it distracts their opponent. No, they're not supposed to be able to do that.
Okay. I think Mount Vernon, did Lance do that
Lance
with them last year?
did the same thing last year.
They look pretty neat.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to mention too is our thoughts and prayers are with the Sherry Freese family. It was a tough situation, and she handled that thing like a pro. She worked very hard. She loved her family, and she lost her battle to cancer, but she certainly didn't lose the battle of respect. She's very well respected in the community. I know her family's going to miss her, and on the side of our helmets this year, you're going to see her initials on the side of our helmets.
Great, great. Anything else, Coach?
No, sir.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.